The Christian Women for Excellence and Empowerment in Nigerian Society, CWEENS, was born out of the need to amplify the cries of women and children occasioned by violent conflict in Plateau State, particularly the massacre that took place in Dogo-Nahawa, where scores of people, most of them women and children, were gruesomely murdered.
During the very serious ethno-religious crisis that broke out in Jos in January 2010, to be precise, we noticed at that point in time that there was a lot of confusion and there seemed to be a leadership void or vacuum in the church. Nobody seemed to be doing anything, and Christians were getting killed, and women and children in particular seemed to be on the receiving end, the short end of the stick, and there wasn't any system in place to address the very real and tangible needs of women.
There was a huge burden in the hearts of some God-fearing women, including Professor Fumi Paramalam MNI, Pastor Esther Ibanga, and a few others who took proactive steps by leading women not just to pray, but also to act by speaking for themselves after that sad incident. The result was one of the biggest protest marches by women in the history of Plateau State, where women in their thousands took to the streets of Jos in protest against the mindless killings of women and children.
We all came together as women on the plateau for peace. We came together under that banner and you know, we felt really strongly that this was what God wanted us to do. So we staged this march, and to our amazement, we literally shut Jos down. You know, that time there were like 10,000 women dressed in black who took to the streets to weep and march together in solidarity. Women across ethnic, class, all sorts of divides.
This movement gave birth to CWEENS, and since then, its focus has been to fight for the rights of women and girls and to provide succor to those affected by violence.
The gender-specific needs of women and girls in particular, they were not being addressed, they were not even being acknowledged, because we came across women who had been victims of rape, victims of sexual exploitation, children who were being, you know, trafficked. All sorts of terrible vices came in the wake of that conflict, and we began to address them gradually. That's how CWEENS was born.
Since its establishment in 2010, CWEENS has employed the best hands to work in addressing the specific gender needs of women, especially as it has to do with violence against them. CWEENS is also the secretariat of the Observatory Steering Committee, OBSTEC, which is a multi-stakeholder platform where incidences of violence against women and girls are reported and addressed.
My name is Niri Goit, and I serve as the program manager of CWEENS. CWEENS is a non-governmental organization that has been fighting for the rights of women and children since 2010. We do that through different interventions, and one of the interventions has been the privilege to host the Violence Against Women and Girls Observatory, where incidences of violence against women and girls are reported and referrals are made to the state and non-state actors responsible to take action, and quick responses are made to these cases.
I'm a project officer with CWEENS Media and Advocacy Department, and I'm also the secretary OBSTEC committee. We've had so many cases of violence against women and girls reported to CWEENS, and of recent we also have violence against boys being reported to us.
I was brought here through the human rights because I eloped from my auntie's house because I was receiving some beating and attempts of rape, and I left the house because I was scared.
I'm 18 years old. How I get to know CWEENS was when my daddy pursued me out of the house because I was pregnant. And since I came to CWEENS through my auntie, Mrs. Madaiki Jume, they have been helping me through prayers, and they bought for me my baby clothes.
Anytime her husband goes out, he comes back, he beats her, he insults her, tells her all sorts of evil things. He makes life very terrible for her. He beats her, she can't say how many times.
My name is Otive Igbuzo. I'm the Executive Director of the African Center for Leadership, Strategy and Development, and also a member of the UN Secretary General's Network of Men Leaders to End Violence Against Women. I think that for women and girls who face different forms of violence, the first thing is that they need to be knowledgeable. They need to recognize violence when it takes place. And they also need to know various avenues through which they can seek redress.
The figures are there to speak for themselves.
One of the projects that CWEENS is currently running is the observatory. And one of the goals of the observatory is to collate data on violence against women and girls in Plateau State, so as to be able to measure the levels of incidence and prevalence of these types of violence in Plateau State. For the observatory, since January 2015 up to December 2016, last year, the observatory recorded 446 cases of violence against women and girls in Plateau State. Of these 446 cases, most of the cases were those of domestic violence, which includes spouse beating, family insecurity, followed closely by sexual violence. Sexual violence includes rape, sexual assault, sexual harassment. We also had child abuse ranking third in that order of prevalence of violence against women and girls in Plateau State.
Gender-based violence in Nigeria is very widespread. And the last report, gender report that was released, indicated that 1 out of every 3 Nigerian women is subjected to one form of violence or the other. So gender violence is so prominent, and we see increasing reports, some of them very embarrassing, of old men raping children less than 1 year.
The Safe House, first of its kind in north-central Nigeria, offers women who have been battered a shelter where they also receive trauma counseling and other forms of support to help them during the healing process.
We also provide succor for these survivors of gender-based violence through the Safe Harbor initiative.
My name is Astira Choji. I'm the trauma counselor in CWEENS. What I do in CWEENS basically is to counsel women and girls that have been traumatized and battered as a result of things that have happened in their homes. I've seen a lot of successes in what I do, and particularly, one of the girls that I've counseled would send me a text message which was very touching. Say, "Mommy, thank you very much that when I thought that all hope was lost, you gave me hope and you gave me a right footing, and I've started, life has begun for me again." And she has gone back to the university and she's very happy. Another woman called me to tell me the evening when she came in from outside, she said when she went back, she called me in the evening, she said, "Thank you very much that I slept like a baby today."
We address the physical, being that we equip them with skill, not only making of things, but we also build their capacity to know who they are and what they can be.
I was taught some skill acquisition like knitting, baking, and making liquid soap.
And I know how to make leather bags, and also know how to read the Bible.
With CWEENS intervention, there are so many women and girls and boys that smiles have been returned on their faces.
And yesterday she was surprised to hear that there is a place like this that stand and fight for the right of women. And this is her first time. Anytime she is faced with problems, she will run to this very place.
CWEENS has also collaborated with other state and non-state actors, including the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, Social Welfare Departments of local government councils, National Human Rights Commission, as well as the Nigerian Police Force, and the collaborations have yielded many positive results.
We have been able to build a strong working relationship with over 30 government and non-governmental organizations So, and this has enabled us collaborate greatly in tackling this issue of violence against women and girls in Plateau State and environs.
Queens have been of tremendous help to us. They have been partners that have been helping us, and we find in them a group to really partner with, because I see them as a very proactive, organization.
Just last week, it was on Friday evening around 6 p.m. I made a phone call and I took a child to Queens. Presently, the child is still there. So if not because Queens are doing this kind of support, honestly, we wouldn't have known how our work will be a success.
There is much more that can be done to reduce and, if possible, eliminate cases of violence against women and girls, only if resources are made available by good-spirited individuals.
If you cannot do it, you can visit and encourage Queens. Go to their safe home where they are renting. You can also decide to say, oh, since you are doing this on my behalf, and be part of the blessing for paying the rent maybe for a number of years. I call on philanthropists. I call on women who are up there. I call on men who are gender friendly to look at this issue very well and begin to invest in what Queens is doing.
We have challenges with the lacunas in the laws. We also have challenges with the family members of such victims not coming forth to testify in court. We also have challenges with the silent culture, being that such cases are underreported. And even when they are reported, they don't want it to be followed to a logical conclusion because of fear of shame and stigmatization in the society.
I see Queens as a national movement. I see Queens spreading to every state and every local government area.
To support Queen's initiative, you can actively get involved by being a prayer partner, reporting any cases of violations in AU, giving towards our work. To give towards our work, please contact 0803 634 3793.